The Smithsonian National Zoo is making an effort to protect a vulnerable panda population. Mei Xiang, a giant panda at the National Zoo, was recently artificially inseminated. The zoo now hopes that Mei Xiang will become pregnant, helping to repopulate the giant panda species. Some visitors to the zoo had other ideas about how to protect the giant panda population.
How to help them? By taking care of them and
their habitat.
Giant pandas were taken off the endangered species list in 2016. They are now listed as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. But this doesn't mean panda populations are safe. The IUCN says that climate change could destroy more than 35% of giant panda habitats in the next 80 years. Mei Xiang's possible pregnancy could help the survival of the species in the long term.
Quitting smoking just got easier. The FDA is advancing their plan to cut back on nicotine levels in cigarettes. Nicotine addiction kills nearly 500,000 Americans a year. The FDA hasn't disclosed how much they plan to cut back on nicotine in cigarettes or how fast the plan will be implemented.
Awareness, support, and fundraising are the goals of DC's Scope It Out race. The race brings attention to those who have been diagnosed with colon cancer. Participants will walk through the streets of DC carrying signs and singing in support of colon cancer prevention. LaShawn Donaldson reports from Freedom Plaza.
In blue shirts, runners ran a 1K race down Constitution Avenue. 1 in every 24 women can develop corrective cancer in their lifetime. Courtney Kessel says the journey gets easier.
It's a journey, and this too shall pass. And to find peace through prayer, through meditation, through yoga, whatever that extension is for that person, to find that. Use their support system. Talk to people. It's okay to cry.
While crying helps some, laughter and a strong support system helps others.
The support system is very effective and important because it gives the survivors or those going through cancer treatments the ability to say, hey, I have people who love me, and it's very uplifting, and it helps everybody to come together as a whole.
Coming together in solidarity for a cure, the Colorectal Cancer Alliance raised over $2,000. Lori Lloyd says, with more research, more donations, there'll be a cure.
Supporting events such as this because there will be a cure in our lifetime. I firmly believe that.
For the past 15 years, the Colorectal Cancer Alliance has hosted the event with a primary focus on preventative measures and raising awareness for colon cancer. LaShawn Donaldson, Washington.
California's anti-abortion clinics want the Supreme Court to overturn the state law that requires them to inform clients of free or low-cost services from the states. Many of the clinic owners don't believe in women getting abortions and refuse to tell women wanting to end their pregnancy that the state could pay for it. They argue that the California law requiring them to give up their information goes against their freedom of speech. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear the arguments of the anti-abortion pregnancy centers in a hearing happening tomorrow.
The results are in for the top 10 healthiest counties in Maryland. The study was released last Wednesday in the 9th annual County Health Rankings. The data in the study surveyed tobacco use, access to care, education, housing, and transit, and air and water quality. The top 2 counties are Carroll and Howard counties, and coming in at first place for the healthiest county in Maryland is Montgomery County.
A downtown Bethesda Honda dealership can keep its new addition to a parking garage after almost 2 years of sitting dormant. District Wire News' Amanda Washington was in Bethesda this morning to get the details on the story. Amanda, what did you find out?
Thanks so much, Leah. So I went down to Bethesda earlier today, and I was down in the at the Bethesda shop, and there were 2 really big car dealerships, but one in particular has a really big parking garage that some Bethesda residents aren't too happy about. Let's check it out. Oarsman Honda in Bethesda has made a deal with the Montgomery County Council to enhance and improve a part of the Capitol Crescent Trail. In 2016, Honda built a new addition to their dealership's garage to house more cars. But this new expansion spilled over into the trail, leaving many Bethesda residents like Vicky Rosenberg uneasy.
Everything about this trail needs to be preserved, and any parking garage, any commerce is an interruption to that and really needs to stop, because this is a quality of life commitment to the community.
This path alongside the Bethesda Rose shopping district will be seeing a $1.4 million renovation project courtesy of Ourisman Honda. Ourisman made this deal with Montgomery County Council in exchange to have 5 steel columns built between the trail and Ourisman's property. This announcement comes just 16 months after discord between Ourisman Honda and trail users about this infrastructure. But not all Bethesda residents are upset about the expansion. Bethesda resident John Castellani says it's all a part of building up Bethesda Row area.
And so it doesn't matter that it's here because you're coming into downtown Bethesda. So you have the nice variety here as you come up the path. Sometimes you're in the middle of the woods. Sometimes you're going over very busy highways. And sometimes you're going through the middle of the city.
The date for the renovations to begin has not been set. Yeah, so Leah, I also went down there. Some of the residents were also speaking about how Ourisman is also in talks with some of the neighborhoods around, because their bright lights from the dealership, as well as some of the loud sounds that come from the dealership at night, has become a disturbance in the area.
And how are most of the residents feeling out there in Montgomery?
So a lot of the residents, majority of them that I talked to, weren't too happy about the construction. Some of them really were unfazed by it, but the majority of them, from what I got, they were unhappy about it. They said it's an eyesore and it's really cutting into the way of racers as well as bikers, and it's just not conducive for them.
So Amanda, I know you mentioned a $1 million renovation. What does that include exactly?
So it's going to be a really big change. $1.4 million, and in this $1 million, they're also going to change the parking garage to have a decorative screen up there for runners, as well as cyclists to look at, and a brand new plaza for people to enjoy during the summer.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Expect colder weather and the high possibility of snow as the nor'easter travels up north this week. Beginning at the Appalachian Mountains, storms will threaten the mid-Atlantic and northeast states. Several inches of snow is expected for the D.C. region up to Boston starting tomorrow through Thursday.
And unfortunately, due to the cold weather ahead, D.C.'s admired soft pink flowers will not bloom anytime soon. The National Park Service is forecasting the start of the peak bloom period for cherry blossom trees to be a week later than last year. Visitors can expect to see 70% of the trees around D.C.'s tidal basin to blossom within the next 10 days.
The Environmental Film Festival is back in town and celebrating its 26th year. The DC Festival started in 1993 and is the world's largest showcase of environmentally themed films. During March, over 100 films are shown and more than 30,000 people attend. Many of the screenings are free and open to the public. For more information and tickets, visit dceff.org.
What was once the nation's first Toys R Us store is now a bar. Find out which Adams Morgan pub has deep ties to the International Toy Store. Stay with us.